Hi everyone, this is Steve for the Skywatch Media News Channel for the final week of 2018. As we get ready to leap into a new year, let's take a look back at 2018, which was wrought with an influx of catastrophic climate-related events that took a heavy toll on lives and property. Here are 10 of the strangest weather events for 2018, which include phenomena in unusual locations and at unusual times of the year. Let's begin with the tale of 4 nor'easters, a series of storms in the order in which they took place along the eastern seaboard, all happening within a span of just 3 weeks. Each of which brought misery to millions of people situated along the eastern coast of the United States and Canada. If you're wondering what it must have been like after 4 winter storms, here's a glimpse at what residents of New Brunswick, Canada were dealing with. The U.S. was on pace to finish 2018 with the fewest tornado fatalities since the year 1875. But on that good note, 2018 was also a record year for tornadoes in some rather unusual places at some rather unusual times. Connecticut saw a record year for tornadoes. The year featured a first on record February tornado in southwest Pennsylvania. The first EF3 tornado since 1987 in Wyoming, a record October outbreak of tornadoes in Pennsylvania, a record December outbreak in Illinois, the most since the year 1957, and the strongest tornado to hit Washington State since 1986, which happened in the month of December. In an unusual twist in tornado numbers, the states of Iowa and Louisiana reported 84 outbreaks each through December of 2018, which far surpassed the numbers from the tornado-prone states of Texas, Kansas, and Oklahoma, which reported a combined total of 119, according to data from the NOAA Storm Prediction Center. 2 of the 3 most active days for tornado reports came during the fall months, rather than from the more volatile spring or early summer months. When it comes to storms, this has to be one of the strangest of the modern era. This story began back on May 25th, when the National Hurricane Center announced to the world that our first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season was born. In its early life, Alberto drifted across the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico before making landfall on the Florida Panhandle on Monday, May 28th, as a subtropical storm, eventually blossoming as a tropical depression. But in a strange twist of events, unlike most tropical systems, Alberto's strengthening did not occur until it was well over land and situated in Tennessee, some 24 hours after making landfall along the Florida Panhandle. But this storm did not stop in Tennessee. It continued on what would become an historic track into the Great Lakes, reaching Lake Michigan as a tropical depression on Wednesday, May 30th, all the while looking more impressive than it did over the Gulf. Alberto became the first tropical depression to reach Lake Huron before June 1st since records began in the year 1851. The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season will be most remembered for the massive flooding from Florence and a near Category 5 strike from Michael. But one of the weirdest things about the season involved a named storm that never threatened land. In August, the jet stream channeled a plume of wildfire smoke from California and western Canada several thousand miles over the North Atlantic Ocean, where subtropical storm Ernesto was curling northeast well off the coast of Newfoundland. On August 16th, the GOES East satellite caught the bizarre occurrence of wildfire smoke caught up in the outer circulation of Ernesto as it was being whisked toward Western Europe, while at the same time a plume of Saharan dust was moving west towards North America. July of 2018 was one of the hottest months recorded on Earth since records were taken. All-time heat records were felt on the Korean Peninsula, in Japan, and in Scandinavia, where massive wildfires broke out across the Arctic Circle. But the most startling heat record of 2018 was set in one of the world's hottest places. July 2018 in Death Valley, California, was the hottest month on record for any reliable weather station on Earth. High temperatures rose to at least 125 degrees 5 straight days in late July. 10 July days featured triple-digit low temperatures, something that typically occurs only once a year from this area. Hawaii's weather was nothing less than atrocious in 2018. A U.S. 24-hour rain record may have been set in late April in Kauai. That was followed 4 months later by Hawaii's wettest tropical cyclone on record, Hurricane Lane. Just 3 weeks after Lane, Olivia became the first tropical cyclone on record to make landfall in Maui and Lanai. None of these events were able to wipe out any islands. But in October, Hurricane Walaka, which had tracked west of Hawaii's largest islands, directly hit East Island, an 11-acre strip of sand in the French frigate Shoals. In the storm's aftermath, satellite images confirmed that the island had been washed over, becoming a victim of Walaka's fury. Extreme temperature fluctuations made headlines in 2018. The coldest April took place in the lower 48 for the first time in the past 21 years, followed by the warmest May in NOAA records dating back to the year 1895. A record number of climate stations observed that this was the largest area of our planet to undergo a cold to warm shift in consecutive months in the past 100 years. As uncanny as this may sound, the Twin Cities of Minnesota went from having its heaviest snowfall of mid-April to an end-of-May high of 100 degrees in a span of just 6 weeks. An extremely rare cyclone formed in early May about 100 miles off the coast of Chile, an area that almost never sees tropical cyclones. Cyclones are not typically found in this region because sea surface temperature in the southeastern Pacific is usually too cold. But that did not stop this cyclone from forming. Most storms develop in sea temperatures above 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but sea surface temperature gauges in the vicinity of the cyclone were just under 68 degrees Fahrenheit for the month of May. Despite the colder waters, the cyclone still formed due to favorable atmospheric conditions, with wind speeds similar to a weak tropical storm. A rare and extremely dangerous air pollution episode took place in Northern California in November during the state's deadliest and most destructive wildfire in history, known as the California Camp Fire. A stagnant weather pattern allowed smoke from the fire to drape over parts of the Central Valley and Bay Area for almost 2 weeks. An air quality sensor in San Francisco measured double the city's previous record for particulate pollution, 12 straight days, from November the 9th through the 20th. Pollutant values in Sacramento on November the 16th were almost double those in both Beijing and New Delhi. Schools were closed and masks were distributed to the homeless. The strangest weather event of 2018 comes from Redding, California, as the Carr Fire descended upon the city in late July. The horrific fire destroyed 1,600 structures on its way to becoming one of the largest wildfires in state history. The most incredible yet terrifying aspect of the fire took place when a tornado-like vortex developed at the fire's edge, a whirlwind of fire that uprooted and debarked trees, crumbled high-tension electrical towers, incinerated some homes, and damaged others that were otherwise not affected by the fire. The wind speed of the whirling plume of fire and smoke was measured in excess of 143 miles per hour, making it an F3 tornado. According to firefighters, trees appeared to be levitating, and branches and sheet metal roofs seemed to orbit the column. Uprooted objects launched into the air ignited mid-flight in a scene straight out of hell. As you look towards the sky, ponder the strange and the interesting occurrences of this year. Look back to both the good and the bad times. Share with others the valuable lessons learned from your experiences and what the heavens have revealed in each precious moment. Do this as a closure to one year and an opening to the next. Be not fearful of what lies ahead, for each day of the coming year will bring forth fresh insight and understanding, new experiences and new memories. By entering into the new year with a renewed outlook, you will be able to leave the past where it belongs and move forward with open hearts and minds and with a better perspective of your future. May the blessings of the new year be with you now and always. Thanks for watching.